Hey, welcome to the Create a Life That Is Beautiful podcast. I'm your host, Letitia Ringe, and this is the space to be for high vibe people looking to create a beautiful life and business. Let's do this. Welcome back to the podcast, my beautiful friends. I am Letitia Ringe, your coach, and it's a pleasure to be here with you all today. So as I record today's episode, I am still in London and the sun is shining, which is so beautiful after some really cold weather again. And I'm enjoying my last month or two here before my partner and I head off on a new coaching related adventure. I'm super excited to share those details when it's time to do so. And in the meantime, I've been having so much fun preparing all of the new details and content for you all around conscious relationships. So there's been a lot of work in the background to get all of this up for you all, and it will take many more months to get everything that we have planned up publicly for all of you to enjoy. But the most recent announcement is that I am now back on Instagram and TikTok. You can find me on both of these platforms at Letitia Ringe. So I've never actually used TikTok before, and it's been a little bit of a learning curve for me. However, I've decided to use TikTok with a playful intention. I want to be more playful on that app. I want to use it as a more playful way to communicate with you all. That doesn't mean I'm going to be super funny, but it does mean that I'm bringing out more of my playful side, which is actually a huge part of my personality. I can be super serious and direct, and I'm also super soft and playful. And it's something that a lot of people really notice about me. So I'm super excited to bring that out on TikTok. However, I have to admit, it's been quite a bit to get myself back into the flow of recording videos. And so the first lot I really didn't want to share because I felt like they were too dark. I had chosen a really dark wall in the place that I'm living in. It's this beautiful navy blue wall, and I'd chosen that because it had really good light. However, when I looked at the videos after I'd recorded about 9 of them, I thought, oh dear, this is very dark and doesn't really suit my usual brand aesthetic. However, after talking it through with my partner who coached me on it, I decided that really the most authentic thing for me to do is to post it because we're not here to get things perfect. I'm here to serve you. So I've gone ahead and moved through my resistance and judgment, and I've shared the videos. They're all like ready to go. We've already shared a couple of them by the time you listen to this podcast episode. And I promise they'll get lighter and better as we move forward. But I would really love you all to come and engage over on Instagram or TikTok if you love using either of those platforms. Engage with the content. I want to hear your questions. I want to hear your thoughts on the subject matter. And together, we're going to co-create all of this material on conscious relationships. If you're not used to the term conscious relationships and you're still wondering, like, is this something that I really want and what does it mean? Please just send me a message and let me know your thoughts about it, because then I can address it in the podcast and in the content I'm creating for you all on Instagram and TikTok. I really, really want what we're doing here to be something that serves over a very long period of time. So I'm in this for the long term, and I know that there's not a lot of content on this subject, particularly in the way that I'm sharing it. And so I really want to make sure that for all of you who are on the personal development path or who work in personal development, you have leading resources that are going to support you with creating relationships that really allow you to thrive and that really serve the desire to be more conscious across all areas of your life. So that's Instagram and TikTok. And then the other announcement is if you missed the last episode, I've dedicated a whole episode for you all to take you through my new conscious relationship coaching program, which I'm super, super excited about. You can find all the details at letitiaringe.com/coaching. However, I recommend you also check out the last episode, episode 190, so that you can hear all of my reasons behind creating it, what we would be doing together, and particularly about what the first step is in the process, which includes a free coaching session with me where I take you through a very specific process so that you get clear on exactly what it is you want in your romantic life and what is the work that you need to be focusing on doing in order to move there. It's my absolute honor to support you all with these sessions, because even if you decide not to continue with the deep transformational coaching experience together, you will be able to decide whether this is something you want to devote your time and attention to right now or not. because you got to be ready for these things, right? Like, it's not helpful to me as your coach if you're not ready, and it's not helpful to you either. But what is helpful is experiencing a coaching session which helps you decide whether that is something you want to prioritize in your life right now or not. And for me as a coach and the creator of this body of work, these sessions are so helpful whether you decide to work with me long term or not, because we are co-creating the body of work on conscious relationships together. I cannot do it all alone. I need to have people to support. I want to be connecting with all of you more and hearing about your experiences, your desires, your challenges. All of that is so incredibly helpful. So please feel free to submit your application, even if you don't know whether you want to do a deep transformational coaching experience. If you're curious at all about up-leveling your romantic life, you've got a desire for more, whether you're in a relationship or not, please feel free to go ahead and submit your application. And please also keep in mind anyone in your life who you know also is desiring the same. Have a listen to the conversations you're having with friends and family members. If you hear them complaining about their relationships or telling you about their desire for more love in their relationships or to be in a relationship with someone they really love, and you know these people are into personal development, they're on the path, let them know about this podcast. And you can also let them know about the coaching program and the free first session, because I'd love for them to be able to experience that in order to know whether they want to devote the time and energy and attention to this area of their life. And I also recommend that you also sign up for that session so that you know exactly what that experience is going to be like for the people that you recommend it to. At this stage where I'm at right now, I'm able to do this, and it just makes me so excited because it means more opportunities for connection with you all, and it means that we're all contributing to this body of work that I'm creating here. It's truly a collaboration, as it always is. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive into today's topic, which is all about being consciously single. So this episode is for all of you who find yourself being single right now, or for those of you who feel like you might be single sometime soon. I want to help you approach the subject of being single with consciousness. Many of you are already single, but you're probably not being consciously single. Some of you are judging yourself harshly for being single and wanting to be in a relationship ASAP. Others of you might have been single for a long time and you think that it's your choice, but actually it's an unconscious choice that you're making because of limiting programs that you have adopted through past experiences of relationships or through witnessing other people's relationships in your life. And so as a form of protection, you are avoiding relationships altogether. And then there are others of you who are consciously single and want to be single by choice, and it's not coming from a fear-based program, and that is the place for you to stay in. Keep going. That's cool. I'm talking to those of you who are single right now or soon to be single and are scared about being single, or judging yourself for being single, or being single when you think that it's a choice, but it's actually a fear-based program driving that. I want you to shift without changing your circumstance of being single from being unconsciously single to being consciously single. And the way that we do that is intentionally deciding that we're choosing to be single for a period of time, which you might know right now, or you might not. It could be that I'm going to be single until I feel like I want to be dating again, or until I feel curious about dating again, or until I feel like I'm really over my ex, for instance, or until I feel like I don't have these fear-based programs driving my desire to be in a relationship. Any of those reasons are amazing because it gives you all of your power for being single. And there is so much important healing that can be done through allowing yourself to be consciously single. People who jump from one relationship to the next usually find themselves in terrible relationships. And the reason for that is they are jumping from a place of fear. They leave one relationship and then they feel like they need another relationship. And so they take maybe the first person available, who a lot of times is someone who's not very good for you. And then you end up in a relationship that's either just as toxic as the last one, or just as limiting as the last one, or the same as the last one. And there's a reason why you and your partner broke up. And then you find yourself in that same relationship again, or you find yourself with someone who's possibly more toxic. And the reason for that is because there's this desperation and this fear driving you. So we don't want that. There's a very, very important piece that we need to do when you separate from someone and when you're healing from a breakup. And that is allowing yourself to be alone, and to be alone with consciousness, so that you can clean up and clear up all of those limiting programs and the fears driving your behavior and those patterns of attraction. And we also want to cut the cord from your ex, those energetic cords that are still attached and still wondering, like, what are they doing? And, you're still with them energetically, even if you're not with them physically. You're still committed to them in some way, which means that you don't actually have space for a partner. And that could be why, even though you think that you want to be with someone right now and you want to date, you're just not meeting anyone that you really, really are attracted to and want to be with. So we want to take your power back and give you a moment to decide that I'm choosing to be single here so that I can do this healing and shift and realign my point of attraction, so that when I go in the conscious dating phase, I am ready. And it's simple and it's easy and it's fun and it's straightforward. And I'm not being like triggered super deeply with every person that I date. Now, I'm not saying that you won't be triggered when you're dating, even if you're doing it consciously. Because of that awareness, you probably will be triggered, and you'll know exactly how to support yourself through that process with what I'm going to teach you when we talk about conscious dating. However, you are also possibly going to pile on top of that this point of attraction that isn't even attracting the people that you want to have as your next relationship, because you haven't done the work to clear it up beforehand. So the length of time for being consciously single doesn't need to be defined. You could decide, listen, I'm going to give myself some time to be single and not date anyone, and intentionally not have romantic relationships in my life, so that I can work on myself, so that I can get to know myself again, so that I can clear up these patterns. And I will know when it's time for me to move into the next phase, because I feel excited to do that. I feel curious about it. I just feel like it's the right time. I receive a sign that it's the right time. Or perhaps you want to set an amount of time right now because that's what feels really good for you. And so you do that and you say, I'm going to be consciously single for the next 3 months, and I'm going to devote myself to this work and healing and time and relationship with myself. And then I'm going to step into it. But ultimately, whether you pick a defined time or not, you're still going to be doing that check-in process at the end of that time anyway. Like if you realize that you're ready to start dating before the 3 months, then you're going to do that. And if you get to the 3 months and you realize, listen, I still got work to do, then you're going to do that. My only suggestion for you is just don't lie to yourself. There are two extremes here that could happen. You might be someone who decides, I'm being consciously single, but you're actually just in perfectionism. You feel like you got to heal everything about yourself first, and you need to get your whole life in order. Like you need to lose the weight, make more money, look more beautiful, like whatever it is that your mind will tell you that you need to do before you can be in a relationship. All of that is usually BS. I shared the example in one of the previous podcasts about how when I was dating, there was a moment before I met my current partner where before I went on that first date, I thought to myself, yeah, but I'm really not at the weight that I want to be at. And so like, I don't think that I'm really ready. And then I had to look literally at myself in the mirror and say, what are you talking about? You're a catch. You are ready. You're amazing. You're beautiful. And just because you've got some more weight on your body than you had 6 months ago, that's fine. The weight can come off if it's meant to. And even if it's not, you're still beautiful and worthy. And you're going to go into this date with that energy. And then that's what I walked into. And it really changed everything for me. So we don't want to be being perfectionists, which I know so many of you have that program. That is a fear-based program. So you've got to be really honest with yourself. Am I forcing myself still to be single because it's really coming from this place of fear and protection? And then the other extreme is maybe you decide that you just, I'm just avoiding relationships and I want to be single because you're afraid of being in a relationship. And then in that case, we need to do the work to help you come to a place of security within yourself and in the way that you perceive relationships so that you're truly free to decide when the right time is for you to date, if at all, right? You might still decide that you don't want to date, but we want to make sure you're coming from a place of liberation when you make that decision and not from a place of fear. So being consciously single is a powerful move. I was consciously single before I started dating, and I did this alongside healing my broken heart, and it really gave me all of the power. Now, at first though, I wanted to go straight into dating. I really did. And the reason for that is I didn't know it at the time, of course. I had this strong urge to start dating. And the reason was because I wanted to escape the way I was feeling. I wanted to escape my emotions. And that became really evident to me quite quickly because as soon as I started talking, I went on one of the apps and I created a profile and I started talking with someone. And then I just freaked out. And then I realized, okay, this is not right for you. What are you doing? And also, why did you think it would be okay to start dating so quickly? Let's just take a moment to be alone, because what you're really trying to escape here is the feeling of being alone. And it's so interesting. I know for me, the two emotions that I avoid the most are boredom and also loneliness. Now, both of those emotions are simply just energy in the body, right? And they're really not that terrible to experience, but to my mind, it will do anything not to experience these things. So my work throughout that phase of healing from a broken heart and then deciding to be single with an intention was to really allow myself to face those fears, allow myself to be bored and face it, allow myself to feel lonely and face it. And then through that, I realized, hey, I'm never actually alone. I'm always connected. There are always literally billions of people around me. I'm not alone. Loneliness is a feeling. It's not a circumstance. And it's the same with boredom. Boredom is a feeling. It's not a circumstance. There are many things that I can do with myself, that I can do with my time. And doing nothing is one of those things. So I really had to face these fears, and through facing it, alone and giving myself the gift of being single, I developed a sense of security within myself that I had never experienced. I am so deeply courageous and deeply surrendered and deeply secure within myself now that I really feel like I can face anything in my life. And it was because of this chapter of time that I allowed myself to go through before I started dating again. And not only did it support all of that, when I then started dating, I literally went on 4 dates with 3 people before I met the person who I decided to go into a relationship with. So this is how it can be for you. It doesn't mean it has to be 4 dates, but the process can really be quite simple when we have a clear point of attraction. So in this episode, I want to take you through those 4 stages of transformation in relation to this phase of the relationship cycle. So when we're moving from being in a relationship to not being in one and preparing ourselves to date again. We're going to take you through the 4 stages of transformation. And it's really important that you do this during this phase so that you are ready to consciously date when it is time. So the first phase is, as we know, awareness. Now, in this phase, in this context, what you would be doing is healing relationship patterns and unconscious commitments that you have. Now, I want to give you one exercise here, and then otherwise I'm going to just take you through the other 3 steps because it would be a super long podcast to go through them all. And honestly, the work isn't just one step for each one. It's a process for a reason. But what I want to share with you here is that what the first step in any transformation, including this one that you're going through right now, is that you need to stop and look at your life exactly as it is right now. Look at your relationship and romantic life exactly as it is right now. I want you to stop and write down what are the facts. So if you're single, you write, I'm single. Don't write, I'm alone, because that's not true. You're single, or I'm not in a romantic relationship right now. You can also write any other facts that seem relevant to this situation that you notice your mind thinking about, but only write what the fact is. A fact is what everybody would agree with. So for instance, if like me, if I was doing it back when I was being consciously single, if I wrote single and overweight, that would be wrong. I can write single and my weight is X kilos, right? That's what we mean by facts. The second piece is I want you then to ask yourself, how are you thinking and feeling about these facts? Whatever you're thinking and whatever you're feeling about these facts is what you are committed to right now. So you're unconsciously committed to the circumstances of your life, which is being single, and whatever other relevant facts you've identified. And you're also unconsciously committed to the story you're telling yourself about those. So you could be judging yourself for being single. You could be telling yourself that I don't want to be in a relationship because relationships are crap, or whatever it is you're saying to yourself. You might be feeling a lot of pain. You might be feeling a lot of judgment. And all of these, the facts, the stories, and the feelings you're experiencing as you ask yourself these questions are what you are unconsciously committed to creating in your life right now. The reason we know that is because that is your life right now. Yeah? And this is the primary story and emotion that you're having on the subject. And the reason for that is because you're committed to it. So even if it feels terrible or hard, or you're telling yourself you really don't want this, you do on some level. And it's because that's your comfort zone. This is what our mind does. So yay, you've got a working mind and this is what it does. But this is why we have so much content out in the world about how to manage our mind and use it intentionally and consciously, which is basically what my work has been since the very start of my work as a coach. So what I'm helping you do as a coach is helping you to reprogram all of those unconscious commitments that you have so that you can take yourself from where you are to where you actually want to be. So this is the first step. We're healing relationship patterns and unconscious commitments through awareness. You will also be cutting the cord to any ex-partners you have. So if you want to do some energetic clearing, you can Google it, you can look on YouTube. There's plenty of meditations. You can take this step right now. You can also work with a healer to do a cord cutting. You want to cut the cord from your ex, right? Because this means you've still got energy that is being sent to your ex rather than being sent to you. So we want to clear and clean that up too. And all it takes is a energetic visualization or a healing session in order to do that. I also did this. I did it much later than I should have because a beautiful woman came into my life and said, hey, have you had a cord cutting session yet? I can do that for you because you really should if you've broken up from a 10-year relationship. And then I suddenly thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe I haven't done that, because part of me was so committed to keeping that cord. And actually, when I went through the session, I didn't want to give it up. And I was really surprised about that because I thought I was ready to date and I'd moved on and all of the things, but I didn't want to do the session. There was resistance to the session itself, which told me, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I need to do. So I recommend doing that as soon as possible. Now, the next step in the process of transformation is clarity, you'll remember. This is where, after you've allowed yourself to heal from these relationship patterns and unconscious commitments and cut the cord, that you then can get clear on what you truly want from your life and from your next relationship. This is important because the identity you've created for yourself within your last relationship and even through being single is an identity. And as you step step into the next phase of your life, whether it's choosing to be single for a long time or a short time, or to go into a relationship and that's your goal, you need to start getting clear on what that actually looks like, what the important details are. And that's because we want to know what the important details are within as little or as much detail as you receive, so that you now have a new point of attraction. But we can't do that or even see that when we're still in the other relationship. We're still attached to the old relationship. We're still looking at our life through the same lens of our relationship patterns and unconscious commitments that are actually telling us we should stay exactly as we are. So we need to clean that up first with awareness. Then we need to go into clarity, and we will receive and get really clear through asking ourselves powerful questions on what we truly want from life. Now, a lot of people get this phase wrong. We ask ourselves what we want, we start rattling it off, but we never get to the deeper reason of why we want those things, which is actually the real reason of what you want, and means that sometimes what you think you want isn't actually going to achieve those deeper desires. So that's where working with a coach is really, really important and valuable. The third phase of transformation is realignment. This is where you would be dating yourself. Rather than dating someone else, we're going to date you. You're going to practice getting to know you again. You're going to practice self-discovery. You're going to practice realigning with that clarity behind you of what it is you want. So you're going to get out in the world, follow your curiosity. When you notice people showing up who are in alignment with what you want, and maybe, hobbies and new experiences, you're going to follow those and trust those and experience those, and then learn more about yourself. And most importantly, this is the phase where you're practicing security with being with yourself. So this is what I like to call the messy middle, because you think, okay, I'm ready to move forward now that I've got the clarity and I can live from this new life. But there's this realignment phase where you're still used to operating as your current and previous identity. And then you also know what you want, and you're learning about what it is to live from that space. And so there's this period where it feels really awkward and messy, and you really are learning to walk again. And that is by design. It's supposed to be that way. It means that you're growing pains, right? So most importantly, we're practicing and experiencing for the first time, living life, having healed those relationship patterns with a new conscious commitment in your life to being where you want to be and learning who you are again. So all of that is awkward and messy at first, but so essential to be in. And that's where the coaching container can really support you as well, because there will be lots of links back to the old, and you'll want to keep going back into comfort, and you'll need to keep being reminded and need questions to help you explore being in that new space, practicing that new space that you're walking into, and allowing yourself to be alone. The fourth phase is embodiment. This is where you become who you want to be. This is where you become who you want to date. Not 100%, but you become a match for who it is you want to call in and for the life that you desire. This is really your opportunity for a life makeover. This is why I love breakups and healing from a broken heart, because the opportunity for transformation and rediscovery of a deeper version of yourself is immense. Every time I go through something that feels really, really hard in life, I also secretly get really excited, because I know that things are going to change in a major way, and I'm going to be going through a life makeover. I love life makeovers, not because I think that there's something wrong with me or you. I love them because it's a creative, innovative process. It's a rebirth, a reinvention, a rediscovery of you. It's like peeling back 10 more layers of who you are to get deeper to the core of who you are and to express yourself in new ways. That's exciting. It allows you to see the world through a different lens and to have new experiences as a result. And it's so liberating. So an opportunity for a makeover is what you get in this phase of the relationship cycle when you're going through a breakup or healing from a broken heart, and especially when you're allowing yourself to be consciously single. And a life makeover, of course, is something that we explore if it's relevant for you in the Conscious Relationship Coaching Program. It's so, so fun. So there we go, my friends. This is what is available for you when you slow down in order to speed up the process. By slowing down, you allow yourself to become the match for the person you really, truly desire. Just like what happened for me, I slowed down to do the work with awareness, to get the clarity, to realign, and then to become the embodiment. It felt really slow. I often wondered, why am I doing this again? Shouldn't I be jumping into a relationship? But then the evidence was so clear through my own experience, where I went on 4 dates when the time was right, followed my inspiration, went to the places my inner voice told me to go, and I met the person that I'm now with, who is a match for me on so many incredible and specific levels. It's actually wild. Like, we are both completely blown away. I now have the partner that I wanted, who is a coach, who is a business owner, who has very specific interests and skill set that complement me so much while still having immense attraction. It's so incredibly special. And I know it was a result of this work, this chapter of being consciously single. And I'm so, so, so happy to be sharing it with you all who are in this phase right now, because this is where the magic happens. And of course, if you would like support as you go through this entire process or any other phase of the 6 phases of the relationship cycle, I invite you to check out the previous episode 190, all about the Conscious Relationship Coaching Program, and then head to letitiaringe.com/coaching and follow the button to submit your application so that we can have our first coaching session together. All right, my beautiful friends, I'll see you over on TikTok and Instagram, and otherwise, I'll see you in our next episode. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Create a Life That Is Beautiful podcast. I'm your host, Letitia Ringe, and I appreciate you so much. If you would like support one-to-one as you up-level your life, business, or relationships in a conscious, intentional, and love-focused way, then head to letitiaringe.com/coaching. I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.